Hi, I'd like to talk a little bit about emotional abuse. So, emotional abuse can be very hard to spot at times because it can be a lot less subtler than other forms of abuse. Say, if it's physical, you're getting punched and hit, and that you can identify that abuse a lot quicker. But often, with emotional abuse, over time, it does get worse. So, in my case, I remember I felt really worn out, worn down, and I felt powerless. And when I was sitting in that space, it became very empowering for the perpetrator as you're less likely to leave. So, emotional abuse can really take a massive toll on your life, can affect your health. So, you can feel, be feeling depressed, have anxiety, self harm, suicide. So people usually associate controlling behaviour with intimate relationships, but you can also experience emotional abuse by family members, friends, colleagues, people that you interact with on a daily basis in your life. So some signs you can look out for is if they stop you from seeing friends and family, if you no longer feel you can express yourself or trust your own judgment, if your health is affected. I would feel like I was walking on eggshells a lot of the time, and that would make me just feel stressed and depressed. So something else could be friends and family tell you that their behaviour isn't right. Sometimes you don't want to take that on board. You're like, they don't know them, they don't know what they're on about. And because they are on the outside looking in, they can see what's happening from a different perspective, and at times a much clearer perspective than what you can when you're in it. So also, if they shout and scream at you for no reason, if they're always putting you down, in my case, over a long period of time, I was being put down if I was there or not. So because of that, I was repeatedly being humiliated, and in that space you can get caught up, where you feel like you have to defend yourself to other people. The healthy place you need to get to is trusting the fact that others see their behaviour and people see who you truly are. And you know what? If they don't see who you are, that's okay. It just means that they're not meant to be in your life, and let them go with love and light. So another sign could be if you're never allowed to have a say. I would constantly be told to shut up and ask, who do I think I am? They can also withhold money from you, isolate you from family and friends, and tell you what you can and what you can't wear. Never underestimate the effects of emotional abuse can have on you. I remember having a box, and in it I kept every card, every letter, every drawing my children had ever done for me. I remembered one day coming home and realising the box had been moved. So I asked, where's the box? And I was told by my abuser that he had thrown it into the recycling bin. I remember running outside, looking through the recycling bin, and the rubbish people had already emptied it. I was absolutely devastated, and I asked him why he did it, and he just looked at me in the face and says it was getting in the way. And if you know the wedding boxes and birthday boxes where you post your cards through, it was one of those, so it was very compact. So that act of emotional abuse hit me deep to my core. The most and important, loving, sentimental things ever received from my children, which I'll never be able to get back, had just been disregarded like it was nothing, thrown in the recycling bin. So you cannot underestimate acts of cruelty, as though, you know, it doesn't mean nothing. So if this video does resonate with you because you are in a emotional abusive relationship, please confide in someone you trust, be it a friend, family member, counsellor. It will just give you a clearer perspective of what's happening. As I mentioned earlier, an outsider would see they'd see it as unreasonable behaviour, and unfortunately sometimes we make excuses for the behaviour and normalise it. It is not normal behaviour. If you are a friend of somebody going through abuse, I know this can be hard, and especially if the person doesn't recognise the abuse for themselves. And I know it can be devastating to watch, as I've had this conversation with my friends, and you know how that situation was hard for them. Abuse is it has a wider reach. You know, the abuse just doesn't happen to the abuser and the person being abused. Other people get affected. So what you can do is be there to help them. Let them know that you'll always be there. Tell them you think they're not being treated right and it might be emotional abuse. Encourage them to get professional help. There is nothing normal about any type of abuse. Nobody deserves to live with abuse. It's hard to hear that being in it is a choice, and if you want to get out, you can do it. Only you can do it. If I did it, you can do it. So you know what? Dig deep. You've got this. I believe in you. Thank you so much for listening.